What's happening, everybody? So, in perusing the internet lately, with all of these hot rod electric cars being introduced, and really when I say a lot, I'm only really talking about the Tesla Plaid Edition and what will be the Dodge insert name here. We'll call it a hammerhead because that's what the Tim Kuniskis guy was talking about when he was describing it. You know, the fish, it's kind of a Dodge thing with, you know, some type of a saltwater predator, I guess, with the CUDA setting that precedent. But anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. We'll call it the Hammerhead just because I don't have a name for it. So anyway, you've got the Dodge Hammerhead coming out, the Plaid Edition. You got the Taycan and the e-tron, all of which are or will be 10-second capable cars, with the Plaid Edition being at the top of this food chain, basically running 920s at 150 miles an hour. What? So if you're into cars, you will understand that that is an absurd number. Not only the 920, but the mile per hour on the back half of the track is, well, it's territory that electric vehicles have never been able to accomplish. It's the new motor technology, the new battery technology is really catching up now with what internal combustions can deliver in terms of mile per hour at the back half of the track, and is now really exceeding it. Well, especially when you consider that anybody can go to a Tesla dealership and buy a car that will go 920s at 150 miles per hour, provided that you've got about $130,000 to spend on the car. So in going in and looking at some videos about guys roll racing, because you know that's always a thing. You're always going to see these real popular videos with guys going out and taking some liberties with local traffic laws and doing the what, and they take off and they're doing, you know, the 60 to 130 thing. And my favorite part of it is I took somebody to Gapplebee's, which is cute, but there's always some kind of homophobic or homoerotic slur or slang that's thrown in there to describe the level of victory that one car achieves over another. It's like, my car raped your car, or yeah, my car packed your car's shit in, or you get the idea. It's just kind of, how does this language even get thrown out? I don't get it. Anyway, you see that. These are the same guys, though, that will sit around and say, I'll never own an electric vehicle. I'll never own anything that has no sound and runs on electricity. The point that I'm making here is that the hypocrisy is absolutely palatable. As a matter of fact, that same type of mentality is what has been holding back this level of performance for some time now, that I'll never own anything that does X because X somehow or another got politicized, which is kind of another point that I wanted to get off my chest here. How in the hell is it that the power plant of an automobile became a political topic? That's like saying, hey, I've got this new engine. It runs on insert fairy dust here. It doesn't make any noise, but it will haul ass your car. Is that going to be a problem or no? And it's like, well, how could it be? Well, it's electricity. That's a problem. You mean you can charge the thing at your house? Like you don't ever have to go to the gas station? That's a problem. You never have to do an oil change? That's a big inconvenience? What? You can leave it alone. There are ways to hot rod electric vehicles, but I'll keep that for another topic. You don't ever have to worry about bending a push rod or ventilating the block. Yeah, you don't have to worry about fragging a transmission. None of these things are issues when you don't have but maybe one or two moving parts in the entire vehicle. But yet somehow or another, this motor, in this case, which creates a boatload of power, albeit silently-ish, that's somehow a problem, but racing somebody from 60 to 130 miles per hour and using colorful words to describe some marginal level of victory is okay. Interesting too, because each and every one of the cars that you see in these roll race videos are incapable of running 920s at 150 miles per hour, no matter how you shake it. I wouldn't say all of it. Let me rewind that statement. 99 point insert whatever you think of as a lot of nines percent is incapable of running those types of numbers. Yet this car, which runs a 920, this Plaid Edition Tesla, at 150 miles an hour, that will literally jump up and run out of the life of these cars that are being shown in roll racing events, use that term lightly, in foreign lands, somehow or another that's going to be a problem. I can't wait for somebody to take one of these Plaids to Mexico, as they say, and they start beating up on some of these cars, and now all of a sudden this super convenient, eco-friendly, depending on which side of the fence you're on with that, contraption that costs $130,000 is going to be basically king of the hill in that respect. And the funny thing about a lot of those roll racing videos that I see that get a ton of views are cars that cost more than the Tesla. A lot of people will talk about EVs from a cost perspective, but have absolutely no problem watching videos of McLarens or Supras or GTRs going out and running unimaginably fast times in Texas 2K, sometimes in the quarter mile, typically in roll race events in no prep conditions. You know what I'm talking about. And in that case, you're talking about heavily modified versions of some of those cars, rarely stock. And if they are stock, they're basically acting as a yardstick for the rest of the group of cars that are heavily modified to measure themselves against. I guess the point of this video is basically this. I've been on my live show talking about EVs for some time now, basically going through my notes that I take down, doing the research, seeing what it costs in general to drive one of these things per mile, and giving that information out there. I don't care if the power plant in a car makes noise, doesn't make noise, makes a ton of power is the best thing I'm looking at here. And by the way, haven't folks been trying to make engines make all this bottom end torque? That's one of the things that you always hear about with old school car guys. Like, it's big block torque, it's the torque. It's almost like it's a nervous tick with all this torque talk. Nothing makes torque like an electric motor, and in this case it makes all the torque and none of the noise, which, by the way, was another key selling point back in the day for big luxury torquey hot rods like Mark III Lincolns and, you know, the bigger old school brawny cars of the day. Those cars, although not blisteringly fast, still could hold their own, but quality of build was based around the quietness of the ride. Interesting how now you've got something that is ultimately super quiet, makes all the torque in the world, and it gets people all up in a lather over it. Guys, I can't say enough good things about where we are with the internal combustion engine. I love my Hellcat. I love all things loud. I love all things powerful. But at some point, if technology gives you a power plant that just happens to make a lot of power, is convenient to live with, at least in terms of charging the thing and driving it and whatever. Save your arguments about long trips and road trips. You don't do that anyway, but that's coming. Infrastructure is there. Save me the comments and the arguments in my inbox that are falling in line with that, because from my point of view, it's just a power plant. From my point of view, it's just another means of conveyance. And in this case, I can have something that is unbelievably fast, that is a non-factor in terms of maintenance and in reliability as it pertains to taking the thing to a drag strip, which is where I spend most of my time with my Hellcat that runs low tens in good air. So anyway, I might as well say it. Shoot your comments below. Let me hear what you've got to say about this subject. I know you're going to do it anyway. I just love to hear it and rant over. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. Tap tag the bell. It does me a lot of good to do that, or if you guys to do that. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Rant over. That's a wrap. Y'all have a great one. Adios.